Hey guys, welcome to ANX Gamecast, level 119. I'm Unbiased Ann, and I'm here with Genesis and Terrence. How's it going, guys?
Going good.
It's good? You got COVID?
No COVID.
You got COVID?
I'm good.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Nobody's asking me if I have it. They don't really care if I have it or not. That's cool though.
Well, I just assume you don't.
Okay.
I figured you would let us know.
Maybe.
Okay, well, what are you guys excited to talk about today?
Terrence?
Goblin Slayer.
Goblin Slayer. It's funny. I don't want to talk about Goblin Slayer, but it's going to come up with what I, want to talk about today. But I'm excited to talk about Dead or Alive 6.
Okay.
You'll see.
Random.
What you got?
Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, is that what we're reviewing today?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do the social media thing real quick. Follow us on all social media platforms at ANX Gamecast and wherever you get your favorite podcast. Speaking of your favorite podcast, this, if you're listening to it audio only, is available on YouTube on AVersion TV. Make sure to get there. Make sure to like some of the tracks.
Make sure to subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll get all the updates. Y'all ready for round one?
Yes.
Do this.
Round 1.
Current anime. Terrence, what you got? You said Goblin Slayer, right?
Yeah.
So what you got? What is
So it's a movie.
Okay.
And it kind of ends where the first season ended.
How many seasons have been so far?
1.
Okay.
Where they beat one of the higher ranked goblins as a team.
So in Goblin Slayer they go and kill goblins?
Well, he is the Goblin Slayer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's his name.
Right.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So, but the rest of the people, they do everything. He saves a priestess from being basically
Eaten?
No, the goblins don't really eat the females. They do. They usually
Okay.
yeah,
Assault them.
assault them. That's a pretty word for it.
Yeah.
And so he saved her from it. And anytime he goes into his rage, every time he kills a goblin, it counts off. And so he basically saved her. So she travels with him.
Whatever happened? Is this the one with the sister in the backpack? Or that's Demon Slayer? I might be getting
That's Demon Slayer.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sister
All right,
in the
never
back,
mind.
Yeah.
So
So
you paying attention? Kinda?
I remember now. The girl comes and she's like, "I want to go here to this cave or somewhere." Right? That's the Goblin Slayer, and he goes with her, or she goes by herself, or I'm thinking of the show. I might be getting. Never mind. I'm getting things.
that's
off.
another. I think that's that one is around to pick up girls.
No, she ain't watched that. No, you got it right. That's what happened in the first
But
episode.
I'm going way back to the very first episode. So
Oh, okay.
No.
Very.
Yeah.
But this one took place with another group of adventurers. And there was a request, and he went with his original team to go and assist them. But that team was killed because the leader of the group wanted to try to wait out the goblins. And in doing so, they ran out of food, they ran out of firewood, and basically as she had to tuck her tail between her legs and go back and get food, she camped out before she got to them, and they had all been killed. And then she was done with the goblins do to women, but she didn't die. The Goblin Slayer found her, and they took her back.
Was this we still talking about the movie?
Yeah.
So this is the movie we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So they basically go to a certain spot and they wait to think that are the goblins going to come out. But the same thing happened to them as it was with the female. The goblins never came out. Basically, they were in a dwarf built temple, basically.
Oh.
And they were basically coronating a goblin paladin. And so they take the girl with her because she feels like all of our friends have been killed and she has to see this through the end. And then it kind of goes through the process. I mean, he's going to still kill everybody. But his group fought as well. And she, had, I guess, PSD, where she had a moment where she kind of relived her assault.
Yeah. Flashbacks.
And she screamed, which
So sometimes when you come in and you look at my game collection, you see Street Fighter. You do the same thing, right? You relive when I gave you that beat down and you scream
with that one character. Yeah, never. So this was actually good, but it was. I don't want to say it was a full movie like what we're used to, like 2 hours, because I think the first 20 to 30 minutes of the 2 hour movies was the lead up.
Yeah.
To kind of what had happened transpired in season 1.
So flashbacks to what happened during the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Did they do that in that My Hero movie too? Did we see a lot of that, like flashbacks to the actual episodes?
No, not as much.
Something.
We may have seen like maybe 10 to 15 minutes, kind of.
Yeah.
But this one was like it almost felt like the movie wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be.
Was it in English?
You know, I don't watch that.
But is it in English?
I don't know. I watched it on. I'm pretty sure it may be on Funimation, but I watched it on Crunchyroll, so it was.
So you back on your Crunchyroll?
Yeah, because they back to putting out stuff again. So,
okay.
So
yeah.
Okay, so if you like the show, you'll like the movie.
Correct. Because this is still about.
But if
slaying goblins.
But if you're a type of, there are some people out there that just watch movies because they're higher quality. They don't really watch the shows associated with them.
Mm-hmm.
But they might not enjoy it as much because it's not like a movie. Like it's a movie, but I haven't seen it, so I don't want to say it's cheaply made. But that sounds cheaply made to me when you reference a bunch of stuff that happened in the anime and actually show that same footage.
Well, I think that
reusing that same. You see what I'm saying?
Goblin Slayer got big, and then it kind of fizzled out, and then there's been such a gap in time since they've done anything. Not so much just Goblin Slayer, but anime in general.
Yeah.
Because of the COVID and a lot of companies have kind of like put it back on hold. So here recently, I think within the last couple of weeks, they started this. If you had a new season, they started the new season. Some of the other stuff within the last month, but it was decent. I think that because I don't think it'll be as big a production as Demon Slayer because they're really trying to do this movie, a big time.
Well, you got a broader fan base too with Demon Slayer because kids can watch it for the most part.
Because it's not there's no assault.
Yeah, Goblin Slayer, no.
Yeah,
kids don't even watch that. No,
but if you noticed, a lot of it was toned down because there was so much backlash of how raw it was. They kind of toned it down as the season progressed. But as people who love anime for anime, don't tone my stuff down. Leave it as is.
Right.
If it's that raw, keep it on that same level.
But isn't there something to say about having to turn it down to keep the audience broad? Because if you alienate half your audience and they stop watching, then you don't get a season 2.
That is true, but if they're hardcore anime, they've been watching it forever.
Correct.
They're still gonna prefer it to be,
Every anime does not have to be My Hero, which is the broadest. It's the Dragon Ball. It tries to reach everybody. You can have stuff like Berserk because Berserk is pretty raw too.
Yeah, but you saw what happened you look at the anime style now. Look at the graphics. Like it's just not the same anymore. It's like it's not how I would prefer it to be because they've alienated so many people. They don't have I feel like they don't have the budget to do a higher quality show anymore. As far as the animation goes.
I think it was taken over by someone else, which is Berserk has been done a couple times because originally Berserk came out long time ago, and then they and even then that the guy takes months off just in the manga because
to regroup
because it's so
draining and
so keep it real, keep it like it's supposed to be.
So let me say this and then we can move on to the next anime. I don't believe kids should be watching Demon Slayer either. I don't believe anybody should be watching it because it's trash. Anyway, kids, parents, don't let your kids watch trash. Okay, who you want to do Dragon Ball? I know you because. Yeah, go ahead and do that because what I got to say, I got beef with Terrence is going to lead right into round 2.
Okay.
So you go ahead.
All right. So we left off with Nappa and Vegeta, I guess, whoever had showed up.
Dang, violent.
And they were fighting.
Wait, what's your anime?
Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z. Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm just saying the last time they had just killed Yamcha. That's kind of where we left off. So they continued the fighting and they cut off. I mean, not they. Nappa cut. He punched off.
Tien's arm.
He
didn't cut it off.
Chaosu
Yeah.
sacrificed himself
Yeah.
to try to blow up.
Yeah.
Yam-
Chaosu's the man. Chaosu
Nappa.
saved the day.
Yeah, but nothing happened. That was all for nothing.
Oh.
And I guess they decided to wait for Goku to come back.
Okay.
So now they're on a 3-hour recess.
3-hour tour. Okay.
Which is cool because I was like, I don't know how he's gonna make it in time. I don't see how they're gonna last much longer because it's not going real well for who's left? Piccolo and what's his name? I don't remember. He was married to 17.
Go ahead and talk about your boy though.
Who?
Exactly. Gohan.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Gohan. I know he's a little kid, but it's just annoying. They're like, we need you to step it up. Like, literally, this person is like killing all of us. I'm scared. I mean,
She kind of sound like him right there.
I was just like, oh my God, are you serious? You are so annoying.
No, Gohan.
I froze.
And I guess thinking back on that, we really didn't pay attention when we were kids to all of the whininess, and maybe it's amped up a little bit more now. But yeah, it was a lot.
I mean,
if he wasn't going to fight, which obviously you're not done with the saga yet, but Piccolo would have been better off just training by himself.
Correct.
And being that much stronger. Maybe he could have stood a chance against Nappa or something,
Yeah, that was annoying.
So it was just a waste of time. It was a waste of a year.
Because what's the name with Tien? This is his moment. Him blowing up was his moment. I don't think they really even address him anymore.
You talking about Chaosu?
They don't really address him anymore after that.
He shouldn't have been in this fight. To be honest, he had no business being there.
So I don't want to know what's going to happen because I'm a little confused now because they're like, it don't give me any acknowledgement or anything. I'm just saying it out loud because they said we can't bring him back. He's already been brought back. So now I'm like, what's going to happen to Chaosu? Because I know he's not gone forever. I've seen him.
Chaosu.
So we'll see.
Okay, we'll see. So let me jump in here. I needed to find an anime to watch on the treadmill that I did not necessarily think that
Unbiased Dan.
wanted to watch or that I wanted to watch with her. So I said, let me pick one of Terrence's anime. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Bruh.
I don't know. I'm just saying that. I don't know.
Bruh. Like, what is this? What is this you watching?
How much did you watch?
I'm on episode 6, so 6 episodes. I don't know.
That's a lot for you.
Yeah, I've been on.
You give up after 3 if it's not good.
Well, it's not that it's not good. So that's not my beef with him. It's not good either. It's not bad. It's just
in between.
It's average.
Yeah.
Right. But my beef with Terrence with this anime is that there's so much fan service.
Yeah.
Like it's half of the anime is fan service. So I'm not hating on you watching fan service. You watch fan service. I'm hating on you, Dead or Alive 6. You came on here. You said the game was trash.
He's talking about boobies.
Because there was too much fan service.
Game. It's not any good. And it's like, but you watching this anime with 50% fan service, and the anime is average at best. Like Dead or Alive 6 is like one of the most technically sound fighting games ever made. You got Virtua Fighter, you got Tekken, and you got DOA. Those are like the top 3 tier fighting games ever made, and you want to say it's trash because it's boobies. But then you watch this average anime at best. I'm saying it's average at best. And the only thing that kind of makes it average is the graphics are good in some instances. It's kind of weird. Like it'll be like really good graphics and then it'll kind of go to like some basic average graphics. But the anime itself, as far as the story and the characters, like I said, average at best. But then you'll watch this.
So I don't want to give too much away because he may be on treadmill. He may do some more. He may watch some more. So
he likes it.
I'm training for Nappa and Vegeta.
So there are things that are said that come later, or there are things that are done that make you be like, But see, on episode 6, it is Hestia is his Hestia, and she's like,
is she on the screen? That's her right there.
Yeah, she's like this short, and she's all booby. So and then Weiss, the girl that he fell in love with, kind of booby. Maybe not as much, but like a lot of the
chick, the strong chick.
Yeah. I don't think she's a lot of booby, but
Not yet, anyway.
But what's the name is a lot of booby. Hestia and some of the other gods, because Hestia is a lower rank god. Because the premise of it is the gods come down and they form basic guilds. They call them familiars, but it's basically a guild. And some are female, some are not. And it just kind of takes place from there. And she is one of the lower ranking gods. So she has no money. She has nothing, but because,
she's cute, or because.
Well, he doesn't think of her like that. He thinks of her like a sister.
Oh, okay.
She's all in love with him or whatever, and he's kind of like, eh. But I mean, they get when you level up because you fight in a dungeon. He has firebolt. Has he made it to where he can?
No.
Okay.
So you spoiling stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a situation where also with this similar to Goblin Slayer, it's kind of like, is this real life or is this a game? Like it doesn't really explain itself. Like it portrays itself as like a game, like Sword Art, like you leveling up and like all this stuff. But then it makes it seem like you could actually die. Like I don't know. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like it's just an average like anime.
So,
it's not great, but it's not bad. I definitely keep watching it so I can get on here and talk trash to Terrence.
It is. You can die. The main cast won't, of course, but I mean, people have died.
Yeah.
But I think it's more, like he says, it's got some fan service.
It's got
some fan service.
It's like every scene. I mean, you talking about side boob. You talking about the goddess like jumping on top and straddling the dude like every chance she gets. His face all in different boobs, different people's boobs all the time. Stuff jiggling. Now, so here's my other problem with this.
So hold on, let me ask you a question right quick.
Okay.
Was Tenchi Muyu, was there a lot of fan service in there?
No. Tenchi, no.
They just loved him.
Yeah.
And they would do anything for him.
Yeah. And especially because you had some of the girls on there that were underage, so there definitely wasn't no fans. So the only one that it showed any small bit and it wasn't anything like this was Ryoko because of just how she dressed.
And I think that,
I
think things have progressed.
But that was it.
Because they all love him. All the females love him. And he'll see more, but they love him to the point where it's like kind of crazy. But he's kind of carefree. The only one he really truly cares about is Weiss. At this juncture in the anime. But I mean, sometimes it is fan service, and there's some other anime that are true fan service. So
there must have been something else about Dead or Alive that you didn't like. Is your point, right? Because you don't have a problem with fan service.
Because Dead or Alive is, as far as a fighting game, is off the chain top tier. So just to say, oh, it's booby game.
Well, I didn't, I didn't like the when I first played it. To me, it was a button masher.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I wasn't fond of it when I first played it. Now today, how does it play? I didn't really play I played a little bit of the last one, but it is a lot more fan service. Because if you hit a chick, she toggles back, and boobies are just up and then down, up and then down. So it's a lot of fan service in it. But at the same point,
that don't mean it's a bad game.
Just like the anime, you didn't say it was horrible. You just said
I'm just saying you investing a lot of time in this average anime that's mostly fan service, but won't give DOA the time of day, even though it's an excellent fighting game.
But I'm further in the anime, and I've seen some of the little pieces or some of the things that they try to explain besides the fan service. Now,
so that's the beef I have, because you also said something that's gonna get us in. That's a good segue into the next round, because you said something. Let's go ahead and jump into the next round.
Round 2.
So you said something about this anime. You didn't let me know that it was a lot of fan service. When we talked about it last, I said it sounds goofy. Like the title itself makes me think that it's like a goofy, like a more comedy type of anime. You said no, it's dark, and I was like, okay. So now that I'm watching it, like, there ain't nothing dark about this. It's goofy. It is goofy. It is all fan service. It is all comedy with some action and adventure tied in with that. There's nothing darker. But the only thing that was dark about it so far is when you cut something, there's blood. Like, that's it. As opposed to like a you know, like a cut, but there's no blood and no.
It's not graphic in that way.
It's not graphic in that way, but that's like the only thing that's kind of.
So I don't know
dark.
when I actually talked about it. Was it through the first season, or had I already started in the second?
I think you came on here and talked about it twice.
So does it just get darker?
It gets darker, but
or it gets dark. I guess
I won't say it's not on the level of Berserk by any means, but
it's not even close to Berserk.
No, it's not, because that's not what I don't think that's the direction.
I think it's closer to a Tenchi Muyo, like you said.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately you haven't seen. Tenchi is dope, but it's more on a Tenchi Muyo level, which is more like a love romance action comedy. Like it's nothing
so it's
dark or
but the second season, and I don't want to give it away because you may make it that far, you may make it past that, is darker than this.
Racial.
But there are and then there was a movie that has some aspects of not just the light goofiness. And I'll leave it there. But
so my thing is, one of the main things that we always talk about on this is I'm watching it in English and you're watching it in Japanese. And a lot of times people, you and Mike B, try to get on here and be like, oh, it's different. It's different. It's not the same.
Well, the wording's not the same. They changed the wording.
They changed it. But I feel like there are certain aspects of anime that you can put it on mute and you can determine the genre of the anime. So it doesn't matter what words or how it was dubbed or what they changed as far as any type of the storyline or how things were said. You can put it on mute and you can still tell. The opening, the credits in this, like you got them dancing around with each other and smiling and happy. Like it's like that's not, you know, this fan service comedy. Like that's what this is. I think because we had a similar conversation about like My Hero, and I was like, no, My Hero is goofy. And you were like, nah, it's not goofy. And I'm like, nah, this stuff is goofy. And then we determined at the time, at least, that it might have had something to do with how it was dubbed and the wording being different. But it's just some of those real graphic scenes where somebody's doing something goofy like, oh, and then blood coming out of their nose. It doesn't matter, you know, what subtitles or how it's dubbed. That's goofy. That's comedy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Blood coming at your nose?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you see a girl and then you get all flustered and blood comes out of your nose, that's comedy.
Well, yeah, she drops her towel and then you don't. It's the perv moment.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be a perv, so you have the nosebleed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? I don't even know.
Which I don't know where that comes from. I've never been to Japan. I don't know if that happens to Japanese folks or not, but I've never seen anybody see a girl and their nose started to bleed. But whatever. So I don't know where that's stems. But anyway, so that's what I want to talk about. What determines like a genre of anime? Is it the art style? Is it the music? Is it just the story that can be easily changed with the dub translation? Because I feel like it has a lot to do with the art style. Like you can just put it on mute and you can just instantly tell what the genre is.
Well, if you see a dragon, you know it's fantasy. You know, sometimes certain things, or you know, Berserk. You know,
but then, well, yeah, fantasy.
Yeah. If you see a dragon, it's usually fantasy.
But if you take it a step further, you Berserk and Fairy Tail are both fantasy.
Yeah.
But one of them is clearly not for like children, or it's not funny. There's no comedy element. So you have like a action comedy or fantasy comedy, and then you have like gore, action, like fantasy gore, right? So it's those sub genres.
Yeah, because it's usually a main and then a sub.
Right.
So you'll have your, you know, when you have your robots, like I'm watching, they finishing the second season of No Gun Life, where the dude, his head is a gun.
Oh yeah.
That is, and that's in English and it's on Funimation, but that one is robotic. It almost reminds me of Blade Runner. In the sense of that techno kind of, but it's.
So let me ask you this question: when you had made the comment that is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon was dark, what did you mean by that? I know I get that there might be a darker part coming up, but I just, if I played this for somebody and press mute, nobody would say.
Well, the theme for the second season is by how we live and our standards, it is a darker. It's darker. Now, is it? And it doesn't deal with as much funny, haha.
Mm.
The end of the season stopped dealing with as much funny, haha. But it was not like Goblin Slayer,
where people just get like,
where you see goblins. You see goblins like huddled around a girl, and they're all like with the little goblin smile, and she's naked and she's being assaulted.
Yeah, it's not on that level.
No, but nothing is except for Berserk, maybe. And there's some other stuff that's out there, but
it's a bunch of dark stuff as far
we
as
we don't normally watch it.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, not when we talk about assault, but dark animes in general, like Corpse Princess, I believe is what it's called. What's the one? Vampire
D.
Not Vampire Hunter, but that was dark too.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There's you can have dark without having taboo.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Goblin Slayer is very taboo.
Yeah. So I think that's a better word for Goblin Slayer, but you can have dark. And then when I see dark, it is probably something more adult, something dark as far as the theme, something more gruesome, something that you definitely will never let your kids watch, or even teenagers. Like, I feel like, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon is like for teenagers.
Yeah.
I would not necessarily want my teenager 13, 14 to watch Berserk. So when I say dark, I mean also there's never any funny. If there is, it's like 2%. Kind of like Berserk. It's just like 2% funny. All the rest is not funny.
And the 2% was in the time when it was happy and things were going good.
Right.
After that, you never see it again.
Right. So that's what I mean.
Because what's the name? He does funny stuff.
Well, the new series, which I don't like as much, does have the little fairy and the
they're
little boy,
funny.
and that's supposed to be the comic relief. But the original Berserk and the 3 movies that came out,
much darker.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of funny.
And the anime and the manga, they've always been comic relief. The little boy but it's not. I think that there's comic relief between him and the fairy, but he's not trying to be funny. He doesn't want to be laughed at and be made fun of.
Yeah, he's trying to be serious. Like, I'm a warrior. Like,
right.
I'm a fight. I'm a help, and I'm a kill.
Man, go sit down somewhere because you still a kid.
So I don't know. For me, when I hear dark, ears perk up. I want to watch that, and then I get girls in a dungeon, and I'm like, this ain't dark at all.
No, the first season's not.
It's
sometimes, and it is got some fan service, and I've watched a couple.
He keeps saying some. I'm telling you, it's like I'm bumping up my percentage. I said 50% earlier. Nah, it's probably like 75% fan service. Every shot, even if it's not a sexually themed part of the show, it's like, but the camera is like on the ground looking up, like between the legs of a girl standing there, and you can see the dude on the other side, and they talking about whatever they talking about, a sword, but it's still like, it's still fan service, like, even though there's nothing sexual happening. Man, I've been watching this smut. Like, what is this? So anyway, I just wanted to. So, what do you think? You got any input on these anime genres now that you're watching a little bit more on what's like dark and what's like?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think for the most part, if you muted it and you just watched it, the graphics or whatever, you can usually tell kind of. Now, I wouldn't have known the blood coming out of eyes is supposed to be funny. I wouldn't.
No.
I mean, nose.
No. If it's coming to that, that's yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
I wouldn't have known that, but I think for the most part, you can usually tell when it's going to be pretty serious versus dark or comedy or whatever. Okay. But I don't know.
Yeah, because like I said, it's some stuff we watch is nothing serious, like the My Hero.
Like when they cry, you know what is going on there.
Yeah, even though they throw you. Man, you still ain't watch when they cry.
Oh,
bro, you gotta watch
it's
that.
It's good.
Bro, you gotta watch that. And we have the second season, which we haven't watched because it's in Japanese. But if you watch the first, and then you can come over and watch the second season because you don't mind it being in Japanese. And then that might get us to finish it off and figure out.
Because when I don't have subtitles, it's funny. I was watching 7 Deadly Sins, the 4th season.
I hadn't watched 1 second of that, but I can tell you right now, it looks goofy. It looks goofy. It don't look serious at all.
It
look goofy.
Probably about.
It looks like you got a little fan service in it too.
Yeah, 70%, for 70%, but it's a dark backdrop.
I'm calling you Captain Hentai.
No,
Captain.
that's disturbing. Some of that stuff is disturbing.
Mm.
And that's another genre, and that's straight, 17 plus and
18 plus.
Yeah, because it's sometimes depending on what it is, especially if it's demonic, it's on probably about 21 and up.
Yeah. MA or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. But there are a lot of genres that I watch. I'm not into. I used to not be in romantic comedies, and I don't.
Rom-com.
But they're starting to like shove it into like the regular series. Like they want a love interest. They want that comedy between the two of them.
But that might have to. You might need to step back at a certain point and realize this is not a regular anime at this point. Like it's not for you.
Yeah,
it's probably more for. It might be action and comedy, which you're used to, but that action comedy, for example, like Dragon Ball Z, is pretty much made for dudes. You might have new action comedy that is not made for dudes.
Yeah.
On the surface, it might look like, because like the fan service of Girl in the Dungeon, whatever it's called, will make me think it's for dudes. But when you got a main character that looks like a girl, usually those animes are made for women. So this Girl Dungeon thing might actually be made for girls or women. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
Well,
like,
a lot of
kind of like X, was it called X? Yeah, it was made by Clamp, and all the dudes look like girls. It's like Sailor Moon, like
JoJo.
the dudes look like.
Yeah, I watched a new one called 07 Ghosts. And all of the characters were like that slim build.
Yeah. Look like they got powder makeup on and rosy cheeks.
Especially and even in the games, the graphic, what do they call them? Where they're the game, but it's like a book, and you're reading like. Even those have that.
So, like I said, it might be a situation we might have to step back and be like, "Yo, this Girl in the Dungeon just really isn't made for me." It could be, as opposed to saying they're forcing the romance into a normal anime. It's like, well, maybe that anime is not normal. Maybe.
Well, that's the same thing as I've been reincarnated as a slime. Yeah, there's some.
It's almost time to
but
move on.
What's funny is this, because I don't just, even though we talk about it, when I'm at work, at my second, there are a lot of people that come in and they swear. Overlord, reincarnation as a slime, they swear by these, and these are people who watch multiple,
Yeah.
So I haven't watched either. I couldn't get into Overlord. It's game based off a game, being stuck in a game.
I'm down with that.
But it's different. And then reincarnated as a slime is game based too, because like in Dragon Quest, one of the first monsters you fight is a slime. I think pretty much through the first couple of levels, you fight the little blobs. So it's kind of that, but I mean, there's some stuff out there. If you get a chance, since you're watching that, you could always watch Shield Hero.
Rising of the Shield Heroes. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many episodes are in this girl. Because like I said, the anime itself, outside of the fan service, like I said, is just average. That the graphics is the only thing that's gonna keep me going, and the small thing of him leveling up like a game, like that's it. Other than that, I don't really care about nothing else that's going on. Speaking of not caring about what's going on, y'all ready to do this review?
Yes.
Okay.
Round 3.
The Last of Us Part 2 review. What you sitting back for? We and you the only ones who played the game. So, okay, yeah.
He's just right there.
No,
He
time
come
for
right
a
back.
conversation. We only got limited time.
But you ain't said nothing yet, so I don't know if I'm gonna be defensive.
What I was about to you don't need to be anything. You just need to be however you feel about the game.
Okay.
I was actually going to defer to you and say what you got, because you're not gonna like what I got to say. I already know.
So if you played the first,
Mm-hmm.
and if you were into the story, deep into the story of the two main characters, and you kind of
LA.
and Joel, if you fell in love with them, this has a turn within the first 10, 15 minutes? About 30 minutes.
Longer than that, because this game is long and drawn out.
But yeah, in the beginning though.
Yeah, in the beginning though.
And if you've played, I mean, Joel dies, and so that's big.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, and he doesn't die like, oh, I'm gonna go in my sleep. No, he dies with a
Basically torture.
Yeah, it was tortured. And so he didn't die and then bleed out.
I didn't even get that far, so you spoiling stuff.
No, yes, you did.
Right. So he didn't bleed out. They stopped the bleeding, and he was killed with a golf club. Taga, would y'all? And it went from there. This one was different because the person who killed him, you played her. So I think they almost tried to give you
her perspective or something
on why she did it.
Mm-hmm.
And they also gave you Ellie's kind of going back and forth because in the story, I don't know where you got, but they gave it to where once he explained to her that she was supposed to die, she was mad at him for a long time.
Yeah, we didn't even get that far.
Okay.
It's very clear that was what was going to happen.
Right.
But they only give you like a little piece here and
a
little piece there, and then drag on and on and on.
Because in the beginning, him and his friend, he said, I'll take this to my grave if, because he only told one other person.
Yeah.
And
his brother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take this to the grave if I have to. But he wound up telling her, and she was going to find out herself anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of stuff that they had, like, she kind of built on her life. They went to the museum together, the dinosaur museum. There were a lot of moments when
that were whack and boring.
No.
Yeah.
I like those parts.
Yeah.
Because you got to sit back and just watch.
But they were growing. There was that growth between that set of characters, and then there was a growth between the growth and the anger. And
so I feel like that might be a part where they messed up on this game. You didn't need to show additional growth between Ellie and Joel. If anybody played the first game, you already know that bond was there. You didn't need to rehash all these flashbacks. That also makes me think that the flashbacks were probably the beginning of the new game, and maybe they just decided to mix it all up because the game got delayed 15 times. So maybe that's what they did. Maybe it was supposed to start off with Ellie still being young, going to the museum, learning how to swim, doing all this. Then you fast forward to where she's at now. I don't know, but yeah. I just don't feel like it was necessary. It almost like I didn't even need to play the first game. I could have just played. I could have just played this.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel that way at all.
No,
I think
what?
I would think this.
But how? Because they're rehashing everything about the Fireflies and what happened to her and what didn't happen to her and all that. You're rehashing the bond and the connection and how they're so close. You're introducing all the new characters.
Yeah, but
I didn't need to know anything else about the beginning of the game. So, for example, his daughter who died in the first game, like. That is not even, like, as far as where we're at now, is not a thing at all in this game.
And that's fine, but that was part of the build-up for the first one.
That's correct.
There is no way, you may not care about that, but I do, and I know Terrence liked it.
The story was good. Well,
that first one, the whole time that they're bonding, like, it shows when they, like, hate each other.
So why did they need the bonding in this one then?
I don't know. I liked it. That's when I finally was like, okay, what's going on? Because I like that bond that they have. When he died, I was like, this sucks.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He died in the beginning. You like the bonding in the first game in the build up.
Yeah.
He died, and then there's more bonding in this game.
Yeah.
It's reminiscing.
It's reminiscing.
She was just reminiscing.
I like them together. When they did that flashback, I was all paying attention.
So
let me go ahead.
Okay, but what's the name is Abby was the exact opposite.
Oh wait. So before you start spoiling my stuff, let me throw this out there for y'all. This game, generally speaking, has no story.
I agree.
It's all nonsense and it's so boring. The most story that you get, if you want any interesting story, you have to read off pieces of paper, just like Fallout 76. And I don't like anything that reminds me of Fallout 76. If you remind,
Except the shirt.
You didn't even like the
We
game.
all got that
You didn't
shirt.
even like
It's
the game.
super comfy.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I mean,
this game is boring.
It's
and it's
so
taking
boring.
It's taking forever and ever and ever to get going.
And they made it longer, like on purpose, apparently, because that's what I read, that the developers made the game actually longer. And it's like, this don't need to be longer. Like, this needs to be shorter. This needs to be over already, because this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
for real.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I 100% think it's boring. But once they, like, I was kind of like, and then when they finally showed that flashback, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
And then I was kind of interested again because I like them.
Because you didn't like the story between her love interest and
So let me talk about that then real quick. So to me, everything that's going on with her love interest, everything that's going on with how she kills enemies, the drug use, the language, honestly, all that shows me is that I was right with my original theory that the first game wasn't all that great either. If the first game was really that good, as people say it is, you wouldn't have had to make these drastic changes, because to me...
What do you mean drug use?
What?
Smoking weed and stuff.
So for me, this game is drastically different than the first game.
It is. I mean...
It's not even the same. And if the first game was so great, as people keep saying it is, they would not have had to change like that much about the second game.
What was her age in the first game? She aged
12 or something.
Yeah. So
she was 14, I thought.
Okay. So now she's closer to 18 or whatever. So she's at that age where she's experimenting. She's always had a love for females, but as far as like everything else, she's at that age where she wants to experience different things in life. And even though this world is like flipped upside down, she's still young. Yeah,
but that's fine. But not for me having to play the game.
You didn't. I mean, it wasn't like it said pass it, and then you got backlash from.
All I'm saying is, in this particular game, forget if it's just Ellie or not. You have a lot more sexuality going on. You have a lot more vulgar language. You have a lot more.
She always cussed.
Yeah, but I said you have a lot more vulgar language. Not just a few cuss words here and there from a 14-year-old. Like, it's like constant. Like, even if you're just walking around looking at something, she's cussing. Like, she's constantly cussing. And it's like, you're doing that to appeal to certain people who like that. I feel like it shouldn't be necessary to go that extreme. Well, and what's her name? Diane?
Dina.
Every time Ellie kills someone, she makes mention of how over the top and gruesome the kill is, as opposed to Joel, who just might snap a neck. This one, no, I'm not snapping necks. I'm taking it, I'm slicing you all the way open. Blood is coming out everywhere. You wouldn't necessarily need all that if the game was better. The game is trash, so you have to make up for it with all this extra nonsense.
So it's different, and so
it's completely different.
And so, in the sense where there's two different play styles. So with Ellie, she was with a knife. She used knife. That's her fighting style. But when you play with Abby was like Ronda Rousey. If she got you in the headlock, she would snap your neck. Mm-hmm. But she was like, Joel is the tank. So Joel could do those things. Ellie, her build is not, that wasn't how she did. She fought like an elusive fight. Now, if you don't like the blood,
I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm saying that the game is not great. The first game wasn't great, and they're putting this extra stuff in just to make up for the lack of story and the lack of good gameplay. Because it's trash. The game is trash.
I don't think it's trash, but that's okay.
It's not good.
That's okay. But I didn't have a problem. So the only problem I had is this with the game. If you, and this is what a lot of people that I've talked to had said, if you kill off Joel, which they did,
Ellie,
and Ellie has to endure, but then you make me play another 2 hours of a character that I didn't like because she killed him, that was what kind of made some people mad, because they put so much emphasis on her. Now I get it. I get it. You went in there and you shot up her dad. Why? And she was on her way in there. So basically, moments before she came in there, you shot her dad and you left. So her rage was, I could see that.
But my thing is, you can't really have it both ways. You can't love the story and then also get mad when they're giving you more story from a different perspective, because maybe Joel deserved to die. It can't be both. That just tells me that you just like Joel and you just like Ellie, and you're just mad that Joel died. Like, that's it. But if you,
That's true.
But I am the only thing I am interested in is trying to figure out why they killed Joel, or what he did to make them so mad. That's the only thing that I'm slightly interested in. I don't care nothing else about Dina, and no baby, and no Jesse, and no Jackson, and no. I don't care about none of this. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
It didn't bother me like that.
It's so bad.
It wasn't that bad. I just they were trying to go in too many different and like, you'd start off here and then you'd go here, and then we'd introduce this character who now she's pregnant, she can't travel with you anymore, but she still got a baby daddy, but you travel with the baby daddy, so it's that awkward feeling of hey,
we're together now.
I took your girl and she's pregnant. Yeah. And so how you gonna have no? At the same point, then he dies, and so it's just a lot of different. And then they had the gratuitous sex scene that I felt was just like ill placed. And
all this extra stuff is ill placed. That's what I'm trying to say. But if you take just imagine if you take out all the ill placed things, all the unnecessary things, you still gonna like this game? Probably not. Probably not, man.
Look here. Let me say this, and this is how I feel about games. And even though sometimes we don't like them or we do like them, when I pay $60, I go in with the mindset of I'm not paying $60 to get what I'm getting that I want. I'm paid $60 for them to give me something that they prepared, and so that's a better way to look at it. Because if it was
a better way to look at it than what? Then they gave me something bad?
No.
But
what's bad to you may not be bad to somebody else.
No, but you saying like I'm giving it a pass, you grading on a curve.
I didn't say a pass. I didn't say a curve.
But that's what that is.
No, it's not. What I'm saying, so
like I'm just accepting this because this is what you, the creator, created for me, and I'm accepting it as is, and this is how it's supposed to be. No, so it's fine.
This is your story. You tell the story the way you want to. That's not grading on a curve. That's their story. But we just bought it. I didn't say it was horrible, and that's what.
But what I'm saying though is it was bad. It is bad, but you're saying it's not bad because this is how they created and it's how it's supposed to be.
No, there were some problems. I will say that there were some problems, but that does not ultimately mean the game is bad. It's horrible. No, hold on. Let me say this. It's horrible. There are just some things that could have been left out or could have been changed to go in a different direction.
But no, this is what they created for you. So
yeah,
I
got it and I played it. And but there were things that I'm not saying that. I'm not saying there's things that I didn't like, but it was created.
So the game was not boring to you.
I finished it.
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm saying was it boring?
It wasn't boring to me.
Okay. So when you get to a new area, a large area, because they made the areas a little bit bigger, and there was no enemies. And for the next hour to hour and a half, and you knew this when you got there, all you will be doing is going around looking for junk in drawers. And again, a situation where there's drawers with nothing in it and areas to go explore and there's nothing there. You thought that was not boring? You thought that was fun? Like for an hour and a half, I
never searched for an hour and a half.
I'm just searching.
You just kind of kept moving?
I kept moving.
I'm just searching for an hour and a half.
I didn't search for an hour and a half. So hey.
So you didn't really play the game then?
No, I did play the game.
Rushed through the story.
Well, no, I didn't. But I didn't have to search an hour and a half to find the things to basically make my gun or whatever I was trying to make better. At the time, the bombs or depending on who we playing with. It didn't take me an hour and a half to search.
Was I searching slow?
No, but
it was an hour of gameplay really when nothing happening, where they used that time for you to talk to Dina and talk about a bunch of nonsense. It's like and grow their bond together and why they like each other and why didn't you kiss me at the fire that day? What is this? Like we're sitting around walking and talking for 20 minutes of real time about why didn't you kiss me at the fire that day? This is so trash, man.
So I hate that they killed Joel because I do like Joel and I love Ellie and Joel together. I don't like that they did that, but I don't hate the story. I just wish that it didn't take so long. It's so dragged out.
What I'm saying is, if the game was better, if the gameplay and stuff was better, you wouldn't mind that it's taking forever.
It's a circle of basically the premise I got from a circle of revenge. What's her name killed her dad. Then she goes and then she kills her ex, and then the circle goes back because she came back. I didn't play that far. So
No.
Basically, she was done. Abby was done with it once she killed Joel. But in the process of going and try to kill Ellie, trying to kill her, they lost more people. Abby lost people because the brother, he went and killed one person. So Abby went and had to kind of basically go and redo it. It was a circle of revenge. And at the end, towards the end, they kind of, when you play, because you play as you're coming back, you play as Abby. And she's pissed because she finds the body of her boyfriend and the best friend who was pregnant. She died.
So let me jump in real quick, because this is what keeps happening. I'm talking about a bad game as far as the experience in playing the game. All you keep talking about is the story. I'm not saying that when you finally get to the story that it's not any good. Death Stranding, right? This is what this reminds me of. Death Stranding.
It's nowhere near Death Stranding.
Bad gameplay.
It's not
bad and boring gameplay and a good story. If you can ever get to the story in these games, that's my problem. So let's talk about the game itself. Graphics were good.
Oh yeah.
Graphics were off the chain, and the gameplay was smooth. Because the first one was kind of clunky. This one was real smooth on the horse. When you walked around, when you moved around, even though they had her looking like a boxer for some reason.
I hate when she was running backwards. I was like, what?
But it was smooth though. It was real smooth. I was like, okay, that's good. But like everything else, there was nothing else. I can't point out anything else good about this game.
I think the workbench was better. Because in the previous game, this one showed more. As with the workbench, some of the weapons, especially once you got the bow and arrow, it took off what you needed to use some of the other stuff. Then you had the explosive arrows. So they incorporated new weapons. But it's a story-driven game. The first one was story-driven. So the
first one was boring too.
It took a while to get going, but once it got going, it was really good. I thought.
I disagree 100%, but
I
agree that it took a while to get going.
This one I feel like is taking even longer to get going, but I feel like we're at the point now where it's like, okay, now the story's starting to pick up. So I've been bored this entire time, but now I'm kind of like, okay, what's about to happen now?
But you say this entire time, I played the game 13 hours.
Yeah.
Most games, if it's really that boring and bad, no, you putting that down. Like, we're not playing this no more. But we still played 13 hours and you've been bored the whole time. That's not saying a whole bunch about this game. I'm pretty sure.
It didn't take 13 hours to go to the zoo.
No, there was like little pieces like that would kind of come in, but then it would get 13
hours.
But then it would kind of get boring.
No, she's saying right now she's starting to like be interested in the story.
What
I'm 13 hours into the game.
So if you're 13 hours into the game, there have been other small pieces in the game,
but they were like flashbacks. It's like not part of the current story, is what I'm saying. Like now, where we are right now, Ellie found that girl and tried to get her to cut, like she found the girl, like beat it out of her where Abby is.
Didn't even show it. Didn't even show it.
And then she came back to Dina.
Well, I didn't know she beat it out of her, but I don't think I think that at that time it was more that the girl was dead anyway.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that part either.
But my point is though, like that's where we're at. So she goes, I can't remember her exact words, but Ellie goes, I made her talk.
And then she's like,
but then
I'm so shocked. Man, you done killed hundreds of people and monsters.
Right, but obviously she told her something, and I'm like, what did she tell her? I'm like, that's where I'm at now, but we stopped it.
I took it more as
she didn't kill as many people. In the first game, she didn't kill as many.
Oh, no,
this is more,
Ellie didn't.
Like, this game is more personal. Like, even though there are the clickers and some of the other ones, and they introduce a new one.
It's more people than it is clickers.
If I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the only thing she told her was where Abby was.
Oh, see, we don't know because we stopped it. We don't know what she told her.
Well, that's what I got from it all. But she was so freaked out because she basically tortured this girl into getting her to talk. That's what I got from it. Which doesn't make sense that you're so freaked out about that, because you have killed people before. You've seen dead people pretty much your whole life. Like, you've shot people, you slit throats.
But she's never tortured anybody.
Come on, man. Like, come on.
I will say though, one thing that I didn't like right off the bat was that how dramatic the neck cutting did become, because in the last game it was like, I mean, you'd stab them right with the whatever. Now it's like, it's just so dramatic. And I'm like,
they're just adding that in just because if they didn't, this game would be very, very boring.
I don't like that at all.
I don't mind it. Again, I'm just saying that I'm saying that they had to do it. If they did not do it, this game would be unplayable.
I just think she has her, and there's two different styles, because after a while, if I can get you and put you in, and because she's really good, Abby was like, and then you just, dead. But she is like, even when she was a kid, she looked like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of kid, the other thing I didn't necessarily like is Ellie. I get she's older. I get all that. But you don't look like Ellie. You don't sound like Ellie.
No, it's weird.
You don't talk like Ellie. Like it's like it's a whole different person.
That's why I liked when they did the flashback at the museum, because she goes, Joel, and it was like her voice, and I was like, that I miss her being like that.
But she's,
I know.
Man, she only like 3 or 4 years older, dude. It's not like she's 50 years old.
No, but your voice don't change at 50. Your voice change.
But your voice changes from when you're like 13 or 14 to 18.
But no, what I'm saying is there was nothing about this person who reminded me of the person from 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't.
Yeah, I thought she was the same person.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, no.
Like, okay.
That's your opinion.
Okay, man.
So don't push it on me.
I'm not pushing nothing. I just said, oh my god.
No, but what did you say before that? So you said this is not. So you're saying that a person or a kid can't grow into another person, because that's
I'm saying I said what I said. This person in Last of Us Part 2 doesn't remind me at all of the person in the first game.
The kid that she was
14, dude. She wasn't 8 years old.
She was still a kid.
She was a
14.
teenager. Now she's like 4 or 5 years older, dude. It's like,
so in 5 years, your voice can't change.
No, I'm not just talking about change.
I'm
saying the mannerism. I'm talking about
change.
everything. There's nothing the same about her except her name. That is the only thing that's the same from these two people.
That's growth.
Okay, so you're telling me 5 years ago you were just completely different. You used different. Your body type was.
I'm 46 years old. I'm not even nowhere near 14 again. But if I looked at my pictures when I was 14, I'm totally different person. If I looked at my pictures from 14 to 18,
you're saying
totally different.
So let's talk about 14 to 18. So you're saying if I knew you at 14 and then I saw you at 18, I would not recognize you and not know who you were? Get out of here with that nonsense, man. She looks nothing like the same person. She doesn't sound. She doesn't use the same. She has different mannerisms. Everything about her is completely different.
So in 5 years.
Everything.
So in 5 years, what you're saying is that there's no growth. There's no change.
I didn't say that. I said everything is different. Not one thing, not two things, not her shoe size, not the color of her hair. I'm saying everything is different about this person than what it was before, and that makes absolutely zero sense.
It makes all the sense in the world.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't make any sense.
Most of the game.
Especially if you're living in a world where there is limited growth because you're not exposed to a whole lot of stuff. You're living in the freaking woods. In the first
game, it was her and Joel. At the end of the game, they were accepted into a community. There was more people. They had schools. It was more room to grow into somebody different. So you can't say that in that time that she was in she can't grow.
Whenever you're 50, and you show up at, hey, I'm gonna be like, I don't know who you are, bro. Get out of here, because you are completely different, and I don't know you no more.
It's different.
It's not different.
Totally different. Yes, it is.
So anyway, we're running up against it because Terrence got to go. You got to go to work, right? Yeah, you better watch it. Watch what? Yeah, got to go work. Okay, so we might need to pick this up again. We might need to do like a follow up DLC. Got to be so. This game is so long. I don't know when they will ever put out DLC.
I don't think they're gonna put that in.
No,
because
if they do, let's pick this back up, and I'll finish playing it, and we'll pick up the conversation for the DLC, and not a day sooner. When they announce DLC, I'll pick it back up. Not a day sooner for this old boring game.
I don't think
price
so.
point. How much would you pay for this?
Regular price.
$60.
Yep.
I don't think we usually ask you, but
40.
yeah.
But I haven't finished it, so you know.
But I don't want to finish it, so 40. $40.
Sure.
I'm sure.
40. Okay.
$40. So we got to pick this back up.
There's not gonna be any DLC.
Why not?
Well, if you had played and finished it, you would have kind of seen.
But no, don't do that. You always do that. Don't do that. The first game had DLC and it went back to a previous point in time. So why couldn't this one go back to a previous point in time?
This one won't go back into.
How do you know? Why couldn't it?
He doesn't think it will.
Okay, let's wrap up the show then. Terrence be like, you ain't played it, so you don't know. You don't know. Okay. Big game like this, no DLC. They're not gonna try to make no more money off of this. Okay. Ready to wrap up?
Yes.
Let's do the social media thing. Follow us at ANX Gamecast on all social media outlets and wherever you get your favorite podcast. Speaking of your favorite podcast, this one that you're listening to, if you want to see us arguing with each other about LA, it's on YouTube under AVersion TV. So go check it out. Like some of the tracks. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all that good YouTube stuff, and leave some comments. Let us know what you think about Ellie, and if you think the game was boring or not. Put that down in the comment section below.
That's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening to ANX Gamecast. Join us next week where we will have our full Final Fantasy VII Remake Chapters 12 through 18 review. See you next time.
Ellie!